Uh, Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Yes. So this will be the AA class. Okay. So last time we discussed about two things: the basic variables and non-basic variables. Okay. So I hope you recalled that we were talking about the brute force method of solving the linear program last time. So in that there were the things. For example, this is a linear program, okay, and uh, so you can see there are two constraints are there. Two constraints are there, okay, and there are two constraints, and so I write it as an equation. So 3x1 plus 3x2 is equal plus x3 is equal to 21. Same way, the second one. So I introduced two slack variables, x3 and x4. Slack variables are non-negative. Okay. So now you can see last time we have already seen that there are four variables. Okay. Four variables or four unknowns, and there are two equations. Okay. So definitely I cannot solve easily. So I have what I have to do. I have to set any two of them equals to 0. Okay. So the thing which you set to 0 are called non-basic variables. Okay. And the things for which you were solving are called the basic variables. Okay. So remember this: variable fixed to 0 are called non-basic, and which are solved for which you are solving are the basic. Okay. I told you how many ways were there. Yes. Abhi, Urjit, Priyank. For this example, how many ways are there to set the basic variables and non-basic variables? There are four variables and two equations, and I have to make any two to 0. And yes, four, choose two. Out of four variables, you have to choose any two variables as a basic variables. Other two will be non-basic variables. They are set to 0. So that way we solved this example. Okay. So let me again briefly revisit this thing. Okay. So what we have done is initially I set x1 and x2 as non-basic. Means I set x1, x2 to 0. So if I set x1, x2 to 0, definitely I'll get x3 equal to 21 from this. Okay, you can see x3 equal to 21 and x4 equal to 24. So those are non-basic, sorry, basic, because you are solving that. Okay, and these variables do not contribute into objective functions, right? X3 and x4 are just slack variables. So I mean there is no maximization of the objective function. It's 0 into x3 plus 0 into x4. X1 and x2 are already non-basic. So that means non-basic means set to 0. Okay, so you are getting z0. My comment is here, it is this solution is basic solution as well as the feasible solution. Okay, because this is feasible solution because all x1, x2, x3, x4 are greater than equal to 0. They are satisfying all constraint. You can see 21 and 24 both are greater than 0. Same way you take another option. Okay, x2 and x4 you take as a 0 and you solve for x1 and x3. Okay, then you take this we have seen. So x2 and x3 you set to 0 and then solve for x1 and x4. So you see this third and fourth are I. The comment is I, which is infeasible. Okay, the thing is why it is infeasible is you are getting x4 as a negative number. So if you set x2 and x3 to 0, if you set x2 and x3 to 0, or let us take the fourth entry. Fourth entry is this. x1 and x4 if you set to 0, okay, if you set x1, x4 both to 0, and if you solve this 2, okay, so you see 3x1 plus 3x2 plus x3 equal to 21 will become 3x2 plus x3 equal to 21 because x1 is 0 and x4 is 0. So 4x1 plus 3x2 is equal to 24. Okay, but x1 is again 0, so 3x2 is 24. So x2 I get 8, and if I put this x2 equal to 8 here, I'll get x3 is minus 3. And my original program says you cannot have any variable with the negative value. Okay, so if you solve like this, it is infeasible because it doesn't belongs to feasible region. So same way we solved this all, and I told you the general concept that how many total ways are there. So those are the number of variables, choose number of equations. Here it is 4 choose 2 as you mentioned. The number of ways to select the basic variables is 6. This would increase if n and m are very large. So I told you this n and m. N means number of variables. Okay, n means variables, count of variables, and m means count of equations or constraints basically. So if you have, let us say n is equal to 100 and let's say m is equal to 20, 100 choose 20 is also too much. That is, you have to explore this many possibilities and then you need to find out which is the best. So for example, in above example, I found that out of basic feasible solutions, which are basic feasible? 1, 2, 5, and 6. This 4 leads to 4 corner points, okay, of the graphical method. Okay, and you see if you evaluate that 10x1 plus 9x2, it will be here 0, 10x1 plus 9x2, so x1 is 6. Okay, so 60, and 10x1 plus 9x2, so x2 is 7, so 9 into 7, 63, and last solution is 3, 4, right? So 10 into 3 plus 9 into 4 is 66. So this is an optimum because maximum profit, or rather maximum value is attained at this point. So remember, the solution is this: x1 equal to 3, 3 comma 4 is a solution, and this is the value of objective function at the solution. And I also discussed that this 6 possibilities which we are seeing, how it is related with the graphical method. Yes or no? Yes, Kushal and others. Did we see or not last time? Yes. Okay. So let me take one more example and then we will continue with the drawback. You already know, right? When n and m goes very large, this method is very difficult because so many values to explore and find from that which is the best one. Okay, so see how to work with the minimization type of problem. Okay, so the example is minimize 7x1 plus 5x2 subject to the constraint x1 plus x2 greater than equal to 4 and 5x plus 2x2 is greater than equal to 10. X1 and x2 are non-negative. So in order to make it as equation, we have to subtract something from left side. This x3 and x4 are subtracted, which are non-negative. Okay, so x3 and x4 are called surplus variable. When you add, it is slack variable. When you subtract, they are called surplus variable. All are non-negative. Okay, so now the same way, again you can see there are 6 ways because there are 4 variables. After adding surplus, there are 4 variables and 2 equations. Okay, 4 variables, 2 equations, so there are 6 ways. Okay, and again, if you see, if you apply the same method, okay, I'll get a 6 basic variable. How many options are there? x1, x2 you are solving, x1, x3, okay, then x1, x4, x2, x3, x2, x4, and x3, x4. There are 6 ways. Other 2 will be non-basic. Okay, Non-basic is set to 0. Remember, non-basic is set to 0. And if you solve this, you will get these values as part of solutions. Out of which, you see the second one, fifth one, and sixth one are infeasible because they are negative. The solution is negative. And we don't want that because non-negativity constraints, right? And you see, which is an optimal solution out of this? Can somebody say? By looking at the table, the computations are easy. I don't demonstrate, right? But 64 by 3, 28, and 25. These are the three values. And the problem is minimization. Okay. Which value is minimum? The first one. Okay. So what is the solution? Janil and Rishi? What is the solution? X1 is 2 by 3 and X2 is 10 by 3. X1 is 2 by 3 and X2 is 10 by 3. And this is a solution. Okay. Okay. And I can also show you this, with in a graphical method. So again, you can see this 4 points. Okay. This 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 for first example. Okay, these are the 4 corner points which are basic feasible. An optimal solution is obtained over here. Same way, the second example that we have seen. Okay, I think the example is changed. No, it's same, 7x1 plus 5x2. Okay, the same example. And if you see the graphical solution, which we did see last time, okay, so it was, you see, these are the points. This, which I'm marking in yellow, 4, 0. Okay, the 3 points are there. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and you see, out of 6, 3 feasible are there, right? And at 2 by 3, 10 by 3, that is here, right? At this place, 2 by 3. So one is 0, 5, one is 4, 0, and this is 2 by 3. X1 is 2 by 3 and X2 is 10 by 3. So this is having the minimum value. So you see, whatever the basic feasible solutions are, that many points are in this region also, feasible region also. Okay. So this is a connection between these two methods. Okay. But okay, what is needed is something efficient. This is not efficient. This is like a brute force. Okay. So if let's say n is equal to 1000, okay, and m is equal to 200, okay, what you will do, you have to explore 1000, choose, yes, too much exploration, 200, this many possibilities. These all possibilities may not be correct. Many are infeasible. Okay. And then once you explore every possibility, you have to find the best one. Again, one more pass. Okay. That is needed. So this is really not the good idea. Okay. Just to give you the idea, I included this method. Okay. But otherwise, this is not used in a practice. So what is needed? I need something which is not like a brute force. Okay. That is efficient. I want something which is efficient. Second, I also want to know when I should stop. Okay. So, so I want this. Yes, you know this, right? N variables, M equation, this many possibilities. Graphical method I cannot use because it is just used for 2 variables. More than 2 variables, it is very difficult to use graphical method. The method that we just seen, brute force kind of algebraic method, that evaluates large number of solutions. It is a, I mean, weakness. So what is that I want? Okay, I want this. So you see the question, read this carefully. Do we have a method? Do I have a method that satisfies this criteria? And the answer is yes. So you read this criteria that evaluates only feasible solutions, because I'm not interested in infeasible solutions. So I want to devise a method which only evaluates feasible solutions. Second, important, very important, evaluates better and better solution. What do you mean by better? Better means if the problem is maximization, I should evaluate in an order so that suppose initially z equal to 0, next time z should be 10 or 20 or at least greater than 0. I don't want to evaluate inferior solutions. I want to evaluate better solutions. Better means I have written better because for maximization, the solution which maximizes the answer is better. But for minimization, the solution which minimizes the answer is better. And that's why. So I want to progress. Means as I do iterations of the algorithm, I should get better and better solution. That is my second criteria. And the third criteria says I should stop. When I should stop? So there should be some indication that no, it's okay. Now you cannot get better solution. Stop here. So you must require this terminating criteria also. So remember, I want a method which includes these three requirements. There are three requirements. Comparatively, it should be efficient, which means it only evaluates feasible solution. It only evaluates feasible solution. Second, in an order, that means I should have a progress, means it should only evaluate better and better solutions. And the third is that I should be informed when I cannot progress next. So terminating criteria should be there, which says, okay, you reach to optimal. Now you cannot progress. Okay, so stop. And this is your answer. Okay, so comparatively, it should be efficient. You should always get a better solution. And you should have a terminating criteria. I want this type of algebraic method. The recent method that we have seen is brute force. Algebraic, it is algebraic, but it is brute force. Okay. That's why I want in algebraic category a new method. And this method, one of the method to do this is called a simplex method. Okay. So that we are going to see. So remember this one point I want to tell. The method that we have just seen, brute force, rather than writing algebraic, I should write algebraic brute force. That evaluates corner points in the graphical method. Yes, I already mentioned that I need to give you a proof why corner points are important, but that I will take at some proper time. Okay. Right now, you just believe that in simplex, the corner points are very important. And intuitively, I explained. The proof I left afterwards, I will definitely cover. Okay. So you see these two things. You read these two things carefully. If you fix non-basic variable, that is, we fix next non-basic variable to 0, I evaluate corner points. Okay. So let me give you why. So you already know this. So in this graphical method, you see these are the six points, right? 1, all are not feasible, but 4 are feasible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this 6. Okay, bounded by the lines drawn by the constraint. These lines are nothing but the constraints, right? So these are the 6, out of which 4 are feasible, right? This correct marked, these are feasible. 2 are not feasible. That we know. For the first example, I am talking. Okay, first example. Okay, so if I set this non-basic variable to 0, I evaluate corner points, right? So these 6 points are nothing but the 6 corner points in this space x1, x2. Okay, so this way I want to tell that if you fix non-basic variable to 0, which means I evaluate the corner points. But if I take some value non-zero for non-basic variables, I take some value which is non-zero, means greater than 0. Okay, then actually I evaluate the inside region. Okay, so what does that mean? That means if I take non-basic variables to some other value, non-basic I explained you, that is set to 0. But if I allow the non-basic variable to take some positive value, let's say non-basic variable takes a 5 or 6 value, then I actually evaluate this region. Okay, that this region, the inside region. And definitely, as per our earlier lectures, this will not give you the optimal solutions, because optimal solution is this 3, 4. So that's why I've written these 2 things. Okay, setting non-basic variable to 0 allows us to evaluate the corner points of the x1, x2 space. But if I set it to greater than 0, I evaluate the points inside the feasible region. And you know that is not an optimal. So I don't need to evaluate point inside the region, because it will not lead to the optimal answer. And that's why we are fixing non-basic variables to 0. So there must be some question, right? That why we always fix non-basic variable to 0. So the reason is this. Okay, because if you take non-basic variable non-zero, in that case, so if non-basic variable is greater than 0, and then you evaluate what? Then you evaluate inside region. That inside region, according to our previous discussion, will not lead to optimal answer. So rather, don't do this. And that's why what we do, we set non-basic variables to 0. Let us take one simple understanding for this. Okay, so you see this one. Okay, let me take the first example, and let me take some positive value for non-basic variable. Okay, so let's say x1 equal to 1. x1 is non-basic is x3 and x4. Let's set some positive value. Let's say x3 is equal to 5. Okay, and x4, let me take 0. Okay, but x3 is 5. So if you take x3 is equal to 5, this equation, so you are solving for x1, x2, but x3 you fix to 5. Non-basic, generally we set to 0. But let us forcibly set it to positive value, 5. What would be the impact? This equation will become, here it is 5. So this equation will become 3x1 plus 3x2 plus 5 is equal to 21. So which will be 16. Okay, x4 I still set it to 0, right? And the second equation is 4x1 plus 3x2, x4 is 0, right? Okay, you can also set that positive and check. That is also going to give inferior answer. You solve these 2 equations. Okay, 3x1 plus 3x2 equal to 16. 4x1 plus 3x2 is equal to, sorry, not 0, it is 24. Okay, so if you solve this 2, what is the x1, x2 that you are getting? If you subtract this 2, okay, this x2, x2 gets cancelled, and it's minus x1 is equal to minus 8. So that x1 will be 8 here in this example. Okay, and if you put the x2, this x1 value in any of the equation, 3x1 plus 3x2 is equal to 16, right? 3x1 plus 3x2 is equals to 16. In this equation, if you put x1 equal to 8, okay, you are going to get what? 3x2 is equal to 16 minus 24, which is minus 8. And definitely this is not going to work. It is infeasible. But even if you set rather than 5, which is too big, if you set 1 x3 equal to 1 or 2 like that, okay, still whatever the answer that you are going to get, that answer, the solution that you are going to get, okay, their answer will be less than what? Optimal answer. What is an optimal answer? 66. 66 answer. So it will be less than 66. Are you getting what I am saying? Others? I mean, Priyank is saying yes. Urjit. Okay. Others? Yes, yes. Okay. Fine, fine. So that's why the reason is, the reason to set non-basic variables to 0 is the only reason that I just want to evaluate corner points, which are my out of which I have to find the best one. So unnecessary, I don't want to explore inside region. That's why in simplex, this is a technique used in simplex. Okay, let us see the simplex method. And now pay attention, okay, because things will be little more involving. Okay, so fine. So this is okay. Before looking at simplex, I want to tell you about one thing, that what kind of things are possible in linear program. So you see this type of linear program. Okay, this is a new one. This is also linear program. Maximize 3x1 plus 5x2, x1 less than equal to 4, x2 less than equal to 6, and 3x1 plus 2x2 less than equal to 18. So x1 equal to 4 is a vertical line, x2 equal to 6 is a horizontal line, and then 3x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 18 is some line. Okay, so so if you see, if you try to solve it using graphic, solve this, okay. So intersection of these three lines, x1 equal to 4, x2 equal to 6, and these three lines. Okay. So, I mean, three lines means I take a pair. So first I take x1 equal to 4, and I take an intersection with this one. Okay, let me introduce equation here. Okay, x1 equal to 4, x2 equal to 6. Okay, and then, so if intersection of this x1 equal to 4 with this line, if you see, that means I have to put x1 equal to 4 in this equation, which gives you x2 equal to 3, which means point of intersection is 4, 3. Same way, if you take x2 equal to 6 and its intersection, if you take x2 equal to 6, its intersection with this, this two line, so you put x2 equal to 6 in the second equation. Okay, so if you take x2 equal to 6, 3x1 will be 18 minus 12, that is 6. So x1 will be 2. 3x1 is 6, so x1 will be 2. So 2 points I obtained, 2, 6, 4, 3. So I mean, graphically, you see, this is a x2 equals to 6. x2 equal to 6, horizontal line. x1 equal to 4, vertical line. And this is the line 3x1 plus 2x2 equal to 18. Okay, that has 2 points, right? It cuts, I mean, yes, it cuts into 0, 9. When x1 is 0, x2 is 9. And when x2 is 0, x1 is 6. So 6, 0 and 0, 9. This is a line passing through that. And you see 3x1 plus 2x2 equal to 18, which cuts the line, vertical line at which point? 4, 3. So 4, 3, this is this point, 4, 3. and it cuts the horizontal line at which point? 2,6. So this is a 2,6. And so everything is less than equal to, so feasible region is only this. So you see, this is the feasible region, the shaded one. This one is a feasible region. And the important points are 0, 0, 0, 6, 2, 6, and 4, 3, and 4, 0. Okay. So you see here, so if you evaluate the objective function at these 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0, 0, 6, which is this, right? Because it x2 equal to 6 cuts here, this 2, 6, 4, 3. 2, 6, and 4, 3, how to obtain that I told you already. Okay. And so this is, if you evaluate the 3x1 plus 5x2 that I want to maximize at every point. So 0, 0 will give you 0. 0, 6 will give you 5 into 6, 30. 2, 6 will give you 3 into 2 plus 5 into 6, 36. 4, 3 will give you 3 into 4 plus 5 into 3. 12 plus 15, 27. And 4, 0 will give you 4 into 3. See, remember, objective function is this, 3x1 plus 5x2. This is I want to maximize. I want to maximize. So you can put this x1, x2 value here, and you get this. Okay. And here you can see this 2,6 is the 2,6 is maximizing the z value, 36. Okay, so 2,6 is a unique optimum. Unique optimum. So what I wanted to say is, in linear program, either you have a unique solution. Unique solution means unique optimal solution. I mean, so there is only one value, that is this one, 2,6. 2,6 is only one solution which gives you the best answer, z equal to 36. Okay, but now let's say if I change the z, everything is same, right? So remember, graphical method, in this graphical method, everything is same. I just change what? I just change this thing, 3x1 plus 5x2. In this entire thing is same. Objective function I change. Okay. And I change it to, from 3x1 plus 5x2, I change it to 6x1 plus 4x2. Okay. I just change that thing. So there will not be any change in this diagram, right? Because this diagram is drawn from constraints. One constraint this, one constraint this, third constraint this. There are 3 constraints, so 3 lines. And this is a feasible region. Am I saying correct or not? The changing in objective function does not modify our diagram. Okay. Yes, Urjit, are you getting? Others? Others? Yes. But definitely it will change my solution. It will change my solution. Why? Because my objective function changed. So I have to evaluate the same corner points, same 5 corner points. But now at this 6x1 plus 4x2, this is my new objective function. Now if I evaluate, you can see solution number 2, 0, 6 also gives you 4 into 6, 24. And solution number 5, 4 into 0 also gives you 24. Means, I mean, there are, and also you can see, so multiple points which give you same value of objective. Same way you can see the 3 and 4. So maximum value is at the corners, and 36 is the maximum value. And you can see, if you put 2,6, 6 into 2, 12, plus 4 into 6, 24. So 12 plus 24, it is 36. Same way if you put 4,3, 6 into 4, 24, 4 into 3, 12. Still it is 36. And you can see, if you have that, then there are multiple optimal points. Okay. So sometimes you have more than one solution, which gives you maximum answer. So you can have a unique optimal, you can have a multiple optimal. depending on the problem given to you, you can have one exact solution, best solution, or you can have multiple best solutions. Is this clear what I wanted to tell you? Yes. Okay. Same way, what is the second category? So remember this, either you have a unique optimal or multiple optimal, provided there is a solution. All linear programs are not solvable, okay? Some programs are infeasible also. Some are unbounded also. For example, this one, you want to maximize 3x1 plus 4x2. And these two are the constraint. x1 minus x2 less than equal to 1, x1 minus x2 greater than equal to minus 2. x1, x2 is greater than equal to 0. And you see, this is the line x1 minus x2 is equal to minus 2. This is the line. So it is passing through 2 points, right? If you put x1 equal to 0, it will be minus 2 comma 0. Okay, x2 equal to 0. If you put, then x1 will be minus 2. So this will be the point. Okay, and if you put x1 equal to 0, then x2 will be 2. So, so this is 0 comma 2. So it is passing through these 2 points, minus 2, 0. Definitely, minus 2 comma 0 is not in a feasible region. That's why I have not shaded it. But this is a line if you extend it. x1 minus x2 is equal to minus 2. And the greater than region is this side. It is all greater than equal to minus 2. Okay. Because if you go like this, in this direction, it will be less than or equal to, right? So, and here it is a parallel line. You see x1 minus x2 equal to 1. This is a parallel line. Okay, and this is passing through 1 comma 0, 0 comma minus 1. Okay, if you put x1 equal to 0, x2 is minus 1. And x2 is equal to 0, x1 is equal to 1. So, and x1, x2 are non-negative. So what is a feasible region? This is a feasible region. But what do you think? Will you get a solution? Will you get a solution? This, yes, Priyank, Kushal, maybe no. No. Any other answer? No. Okay, then you should read it carefully. Maximization. Our task is maximization. So if you move in this direction, see, this point is somewhere like 1 comma 1 or something like that. But if you move in this direction, x1 and x2 both value will increase. So for example, if you take this point, x1 value is, if you take this point, x1 value is this, x2 value is this. It is, this is a feasible point, right? If you take this point, it will be also feasible point, this point. So I can go in infinitely in this direction. But you can notice one thing, as you move from this to this or from this to this, okay, x1 and x2 value will increase or not? Yash, Kushal, Janil? Yes. Yes, Janil is correct. So x1 and x2 value will increase, which means I can take any value of x1, x2 in this direction, okay, which will increase this. So that means you cannot say there is no solution. There are many solutions rather. I cannot get an optimal solution. So it's an unbounded linear program. Remember this phenomenon where I can go ahead and ahead and ahead and I can improve the answer. So there is no termination. Remember, I can go infinitely in this direction. There is no termination, right? And so you see why it is so. So if I take x1 minus x2 equal to k, let's say x1 equal to x2 equal to k. Okay, but both are having the value k. So what will be happening? x1 and x2 is k, so 0. x1 minus x2 is 0. 0 less than equal to 1. That is correct. And 0 greater than equal to minus 2, that is also correct. Okay, so if I take same value for x1 and x2, which is k, it will satisfy k. K should be positive or non-negative. if I take x1 and x2 k, which is greater than equal to 0, then this both constraint will be satisfied. Am I saying correct or not? Yes, Kushal, Rishi. X1 and equal to some value k, x2 equal to some value k, where k is greater than equal to 0, that will be satisfied. But I can take any k. I can take any k. I can take 1 lakh. Then somebody will say take 1 crore. Then the value of this 3k plus 4k will be 7k. So 7k will increase, okay, as k increases. As k increases. And that's why this is called unbounded linear program. So you can say we can increase k up to infinity, and we can find that obtain infinity value for objective function. Thus we can get many solutions, but we cannot get the one which maximizes the objective function. Because if somebody says let us put k equal to 100, then I will argue let us put 101. 101 will be better, because 7 into 101, okay, will give you 707. Okay, so then somebody will say put 102. So this type of program where we have infinitely feasible region. So region is there, solutions are there. Okay, whenever you have at least shaded region, there is exactly some solution. But that region, if it is unbounded, this is called unbounded. Remember this word. When the feasible region is infinite or unbounded, particular linear program is called unbounded linear program. Why? Because I can increase x1, I can increase x2 infinitely in the feasible region, and yet I don't have the exact answer. Exact answer means optimal answer. That doesn't exist. Okay, so 3 things are clear. If the linear program has a solution, how many things are possible? Anybody can narrate? Janil, can you narrate? If a linear program has a solution, then how many possibilities we have explored? 3 possibilities we have explored, right? Either it has a unique solution, or it has a multiple unique solution, or the region is unbounded. So that type of linear program is unbounded. Yes. Yet one more thing is there, infeasible linear program. So some linear program are such that there is no solution. Okay, unbounded means infinitely many solutions, but there is no solution which maximizes the objective. But infeasible means there is no feasible region. Okay, let us see one example. So maximize 10x1 plus 9x2 subject to x1 plus x2 less than equal to 5 and x1 is greater than equal to 6. Okay. Now you see these 2 constraints are contradictory. X1 plus x2 less than equal to 5 and x1 greater than equal to 6. Why? Because if you put x1 6 even, minimum value 6 if you put, then x2 will give negative, which is not allowed. Okay. x1 plus x2 equal to 5, right? If you put this as an equation, this will be 5. If you put a minimum value of x1, minimum value of x1 is 6, because x1 is greater than equal to 6. So if it will be 6 plus x2 equal to 5, which will make the x2 negative, because x2 then it should be minus 1. So x2 should be minus 1 for that. So you see this is x1 equal to 6. This is a vertical line. And your region should be like here. But this second constraint, x1 plus x2 less than equal to 5, this is over here. X1 plus x2 is equal to 5 is here, this. And this region is x1 plus x2 is less than equal to 5. And there is no common region which includes this as well as this. Okay. So there is not a single point. Okay. So you see I have shaded differently. This means x1 greater than equal to 6, this region. And this type of lines I have denoted for this region. So that means there is no point which satisfies both the constraint, which means that it is infeasible linear program. So Are you getting infeasible, the fourth one? Kushal, Janil, Om, yes, Rishi, yes. So remember this linear program solution, if it has at least one solution, it's feasible or infeasible. These are the main two categories. Infeasible, there is no single point which qualifies. Okay, but feasible, then either it has a unique solution, multiple unique solution, multiple solutions which maximizes the objective value, or it could have unbounded solution. Unbounded solution, okay, where objective function value can be infinity because we can increase x1 or x2 infinite. So this is called, this is just, I told you, intuition. This is intuition, right? But this is actually some theorem statement. Okay, this is what I wanted to tell you. The theorem statement says any linear programming problem can be classified as having, okay, either infeasible or it has a unbounded linear program. So linear program can be classified as a feasible, infeasible. Again, in infeasible case, you have some categories, and unbounded. Okay, so depending on the linear program, you have a type of solutions. So remember, earlier I told you about 3 criteria. Anybody can tell me which 3 criteria I want? 3 criteria. I want to find a method which includes 3 criteria. Yes. Anybody would like to write 3 criteria? First was, yes, it should give only feasible solution. Second, only feasible solution is correct. Second should be improvement. Yes, there should be progress. Incremental, very correct. And yes, the third is the terminating condition. Yes. Okay. So terminating criteria, very correct, everyone. So in addition to this, I also need criteria because every input, I don't know whether it is which kind of unbounded or what kind of it is. I need criteria for unbounded, for recognizing unbounded linear program, as well as for recognizing infeasible linear program. See, this toy examples are very small. So even you can do graphically and check that it is infeasible. But if I have 100 constraints, okay, I cannot do it easily whether it is infeasible or not. Okay, so this graphical and everything is just a toy thing. I cannot use this for every kind of practical scenario. And that's why I also need criteria for detecting unbounded linear program, or detecting infeasible linear program, as well as to detect, okay, unique solution or alternate optimal solution. Alternate means another. Okay, in case of multiple optimal solutions, I also want to find out, let us say, multiple solutions, alternate optimal solutions. And you will say why it is needed to find all possible solutions which maximizes the objective, because certain practical scenarios are such that it is advisable to get every solution and then think of which solution to use in practice, because energy and other things are very much affected. Remember, linear programming and everything is not just bounded to practical scenarios, like wireless communication, signal processing, and everything. Okay, like mobile communication, MIMO and massive MIMO. So many technologies are there. There also, finally, the model is mathematical. It could be a linear program also. And finally, we need to solve that. Okay. So in that case, in case of multiple senders and multiple receivers, okay, there is a very large linear program will be created. So we also need a criteria for identifying unbounded linear program, infeasible linear program, and this all kind of things. Okay. Up to this, everybody is clear what I wanted to tell? Yes. So remember, the tomorrow's lecture and the day after tomorrow's lecture, okay, the 2 lectures, will be related to simplex algebraic and simplex tabular methods. One thing I want to mention that whenever I use simplex algebraic, this is equivalent to simplex tabular. Both are exactly same, but one is in a table form, one is in a equation form. So one looks like mathematical, okay, because we know mathematics. So that's why we will start tomorrow with algebraic simplex method. Okay, once you comfortable with that method, understand that how it progresses and finds the terminating criteria, after which we will move to the tabular method. So in algorithms, definitely tabular methods are used. Okay, and so calculative criteria of calculation wise also tabular methods are more easy to deal with. Okay, so that we will see in the next lecture. But up to this, any doubt? Any doubt? Priyank, Urjit, Rishi, others? Om is there. Jeet, Pranjal, Keval, Abhi. I hope you are all there or at least listening. Okay, okay, fine, fine. Okay, so tomorrow we'll start with simplex algebraic method. Okay, so fine. Thank you so much.